Hi, it's Miss Pritzel at the Appleton West Library, and I'm going to do it really fast because there's so much I have to say about this, and I don't want it to be 5 or 6 minutes. So, it's called The Warsaw Orphan. It is by Kelly Rimmer. Okay, so this takes place during World War II, and it takes place almost entirely in Warsaw, Poland, although there are some scenes that take place in smaller towns. So, one thing I did not know about Poland during the war was that the Soviets took over first, and then the Germans fought the Soviets back, and then the Soviets fought the Germans back, but the Polish people were not better off with either one of them. So, yeah, we talk about the Germans, but the Soviets were not better off. You know, the Polish people suffered a lot. All of them suffered a lot during the war. So, our main characters are Elżbieta. You're going to say Elizabeth. I had to go look it up to see how it was pronounced. And then we would say Roman would be pronounced Roman. So it's told from their points of view. So Elżbieta is not Jewish. She is Polish, not Jewish, but she is in hiding because her parents, her father and brother, resisted the Germans and stood up for some Jews who worked for them. They were shot and killed. And so her family is gone. She is living with people she knows and she cares about a lot, because this is a great book for, like, family is what you make of it, especially in times of high stress and struggle. And then we have Roman, who, once again, he is technically not Jewish. His mother is Jewish, which in German eyes would probably make him Jewish, but his father was Catholic, and so he was raised Catholic. Now, his father has been long dead, and his mother is remarried, and he has a younger brother and a baby sister. But when the Germans beat the Soviets and the Germans take over Warsaw, they put all the Jews in the Warsaw Ghetto. Many of those Jews died from crowded conditions, disease, starvation, all this other stuff. And then, of course, we have the Warsaw Ghetto Uprising. But I'm getting ahead of myself. So, Elżbieta gets involved, even though she's a teenager in this, she gets involved with a group that is smuggling babies out of the Warsaw Ghetto because they're the easiest to smuggle out. They have the best chances of survival, things like that. And so that's how Elżbieta meets Roman, she helps to smuggle Roman's baby sister out of the ghetto so she has a chance of surviving. Now, afterwards, once again, historical, I'm not really giving anything away, Roman's family ends up being deported. I can't remember why he's left behind. I read this a few months ago, and then somebody checked it out on me. Oh, my goodness. People check out books. Probably because I recommended it to them. So, okay. So then, I'm thinking the book ends there, but I'm like, man, I got a lot of pages left. So it continues the story of there's the Warsaw Ghetto Uprising. Amazing. The Jews fought back the Germans for days, way beyond what anybody thought they could. And basically the Germans bombed that ghetto into the ground. And I thought all the Jewish resistance people died during that. Well, about 9, 10, maybe 12 of them did survive, because I had to go look that up, because I'm like, is she being factual on this? Yes, she is. So Roman is one of their survivors, and he gets involved with the Polish resistance then, because Polish resistance is inspired by the Jewish resistance, and they try to push the Germans out. Doesn't work again so well. Then the Soviets come in, and you think, yay, the Germans. But people who'd been under Soviet-occupied Poland know, hey, things are not necessarily going to be any better with the Soviets. And then they start and once again, the Jewish resistance is very active in Warsaw, so they're being bombed out, and so our characters get spread out to the countryside for a time. Like I said, there's just atrocities of war going on all over the place by multiple different nations. And why would I read a book like this? Why would I read a book that totally made me cry more than once? It's because the resilience of the human spirit, and you wonder, how did people survive these horrid events? Because I'm telling you, this kind of stuff is still happening today. Atrocities are still happening today, and how do people survive? And it's the resilience of the human spirit. So when I get oh my goodness, this is the type of stuff I have to remind myself, my life I can survive anything. If these people survived all the stuff they survived, because these people are, real people did survive the war. So this is historical, but it's very factual as well. And that's what I love about these stories, to see the resilience of the human spirit. So in a way, I would call this definitely a make me cry book, but it is also a book that's hopeful, and that it's about the human spirit, and it's about people fighting back and resisting and not making family where you find it, things like that. So I highly recommend this book. You can see I'm getting all emotional about it, and like I said, I read it a couple months ago. So if your historical fiction and World War II stuff is not your thing, or you don't like books that make you cry, I will recommend something else. So just give me a chance. Have a fantastic day and keep on reading. Bye.